Hi there, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm fishing a clean ground venue, and that's not something I do very often nowadays, so I'm particularly looking forward to this. When I say clean grounds, I mean it's actually a nice flat sandy beach, somewhere that's incredibly easy to fish. I'm joined today by John. Now John contacted me wanting to fish somewhere in the Bristol Channel, just somewhere easy to get his head round for starters anyway. So we're going to be fishing for bass, possibly sole if we're really lucky. There should be some rays about. It's an absolutely cracking evening. We're going to get some baits out there in just a short while as soon as this tide floods up onto the beach, and we'll be away. So John's just going to make his first cast now. That sea is looking absolutely perfect this evening. I really hope some fish show. So tactics for the evening. John's fishing a 2-hook flapper rig with ragworm on small hooks for the smaller species that we could find here. And then we're going to put a bigger fish bait a bit further out. So John's about to make his second cast of the session, well, first cast on the bigger rod if you like, and this is the rod that we're going to be targeting the rays and the conger and those bigger species in general. So the beauty of these flat sandy beaches we have here on the channel is that you can cast the bait out at the very start of your session. It doesn't have to go particularly far, and as the tide advances you can then move up the beach, leaving your bait in deeper water. It's a fantastic method, and over the years it's accounted for a lot of good fish. So as I explained, John's initial casts, they didn't go particularly far, but it really doesn't matter. The tide's already racing up the beach, and if you wanted to see somewhere in the Bristol Channel where the tide is really racing, this is the place to come. I mean, look how far up the beach he is now. What is surprising though is just how quiet the beach is tonight. There's barely anyone around, a few dog walkers, a couple of joggers, and that's about it. Certainly no other anglers anyway. What a beautiful evening though. So John's just bringing in his first cast on the smaller hooks with the ragworm bait. We haven't had any bites, but we're just going to check the bait and give it a change anyway. Well, there's plenty of plastic in the ocean, and it's certainly not what you want to be catching on an evening like this, but there you go. So we really are lobbing these baits in close tonight. The idea is that a lot of those smaller fish hang around in the surf line, and that's where they're most likely to pick up the bait. Fingers crossed anyway. So the most effective way to fish somewhere like this is, as I say, to simply walk back. Your tackle's still anchored to the seabed, but as you can see, the line's spinning off the reel, and we're just going to walk back up the beach by about sort of 30 or 40 yards thereabouts. Definitely pays to stay mobile. So you do get a few dog walkers here of an evening. As I say, it's a pretty much deserted beach, but then you get a couple of people come walking along the tide line. Regular people don't recognise fishing lines, but they've kindly stepped over them and they're on their way, and we're back fishing. Well, that's not something you see every day when you're fishing, is it? But I bet they got a cracking view of the beach from up there this evening. Look at that. So John's just had his first proper bite of the evening on the big rod. When I say the big rod, I mean the rod with the large fish bait, which we put out right at the start of the session. Now that bait's probably a good 200 yards offshore at the moment, and the tip has just slowly come up. That tells me there's probably a thornback ray having a munch on the end. We'll give it a couple more minutes and then we'll go for the wind in and see what we've got on there. Now I couldn't not get a little bit of footage of this amazing beach art this evening. Take a look at this. Right, I reckon it's time for John to retrieve this as yet unseen adversary. Let's see what we've got, but my prediction is it's going to be a ray. What are we thinking then, John? Bit of weight on there. Oh, exciting stuff. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you got a ray on there. Hopefully it's a decent sized one. Absolutely stunning evening though down here on the Bristol Channel, and what finer conditions could you have for a spot of evening fishing. Now, I think what John's actually doing there is trying to extract the fish from the mud, and it's just a case of slow, steady pressure. Although the fish did initially break the lead out, it looks like it's shuffled back in. There you go, you can see he's got it moving again now. Now the thing is with ray fishing on this beach, it's not always huge fish, but a great bit of fun. And even the smallest of fish can get its wings into the mud and shuffle down a bit, because it's very, very shallow out there. And it can make you feel like you're retrieving a fish much larger than what it actually is. Yeah, looks like you got it moving nicely. Yeah, John's saying he's got half a mile of line out. That's the only trouble with this technique, but it does work really well. Playing a nice fish against the backdrop of that setting sun. It's a glorious place to be. How your arms feeling, John?
Burning. Half a mile of line out. And this keeps
Every now and again.
himself on the bottom.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that.
It was half decent though.
Yeah, it looks all right. Beautiful. What a lovely ray to start the session with. Fantastic. Well, we saw the bite, you've just seen the fight, there's the fish. What a cracking start. Now, a nice male thornback ray of probably around about 5 or 6 pound, I expect. But as you saw, puts a real strain on the tackle. You've got to make sure your knots are tied well, you know, your shock leader knot, your main line, everything. Everything's got to be intact. But beautiful way to spend a summer's evening here on the channel. Cracking fish. Beautiful sunset about to happen. Well done, John.
Thank you.
So that's actually John's first ever thornback ray, and as I've said before, although these fish do get bad press around here, you know, the locals don't like them, I totally get that, but if you've never caught one before, it's an absolute buzz. They're great looking fish and they do fight. People who say they don't, they're telling fibs. Nice one, John. Let's get her back in the water then, go about her business. There she goes. Great stuff. Well done, John.
Thank you very much.
So we're just going to have a look at the ragworm baits. They've been out there for a little while now, certainly well before John caught the ray, and it's always good to freshen your baits up. You know, you can't leave them out there indefinitely, not small ragworm baits like that anyway. I doubt very much if we've actually got anything on this one, but we'll have a look, and as I say, we'll get some fresh baits on, get it back out there. So as you've probably seen, John's using a fixed spool and a quite a long continental style rod. It's absolutely perfect for this particular venue. Not the kind of thing you'd want to use on the channel all the time, but absolutely fine for here. And it's just wound that in, there you go. Nothing on there anyway, but we'll get a fresh one on there and we'll get it back out there. Well, I'm really pleased for John. That was the fish he wanted to catch this evening. Lovely form back ray. Like I say, they get a bad press around here, but if you've never caught one before, the Bristol Channel really is the place to come and have a go. That's the sun just starting to dip below the Welsh coastline there. It's been another really hot, beautiful day here. It's not over yet. Let's see what else might come along.
A whole new meaning of fishing at distance. This is.
Fishing at distance without the difficult bit. Well, all too soon this evening's session's coming to a close. And it's been a little bit quiet really. John had that one nice ray earlier on. We've had ragworm baits out all evening and not a sniff on them. Now, we have had a bite again on this heavier rod. I don't know if there's a fish on there this time, but it would be nice to finish on a fish. What do you reckon, John?
Feels like there's a bit of weight on there.
A little bit of weight on there perhaps. Let's keep our fingers crossed. It is always nice to finish on a high note. John's saying it might be an eel. "10:30 at night, mid-June, and there's still a load of light in the sky. It's been an absolutely beautiful evening. And the fishing has been a little bit slow, but I don't think either of us are really that bothered. Well, there we go, the final cast retrieved. Time to head for home. Well, perhaps it wasn't the perfect end to the session we've been hoping for, but who cares? I mean, John caught a lovely ray earlier, his first of that particular species, cracking little fawn back ray. What's not to like? Winding in a fish like that against the backdrop of the Bristol Channel on a summer's evening, absolutely perfect. Thanks for watching, keep tuning in for more to come, and I'll catch you next time.